I don't know how to intro this. Religion. Welcome to Cinemats Money Addicts. I wanted to make a series. I don't know if I'm gonna name this yet, but I just want to make a series with just topics that have been on my mind and things that I think about on a regular basis. And religion has been on my mind a lot as of lately. Really, ever since I got out of college, I want to say, you start thinking about stuff like that, because I feel like when you're in college, you're thinking about school, but if you drop out, you got to replace all that thought into something. And I think religion and other topics such as religion start to fall into that empty space. And I want to talk about, I think, my atheism. That word sounds so bad, bro. Atheism just sounds like such a terrible word, and it's not. It's just the conditioning, I guess, of just Christianity and shit. But all right. So I'm gonna get into it. So my introduction to religion is, I wake up every Sunday, go to church, but it's a black church, so maybe only be like an hour and a half. And I want to talk some of my feelings that I never had any resentment towards church. I never hated church. I want to say, and I would be lying to you if my mom came into my room, one Sunday or once every 6 Sundays and told me that we're not going to church. I would be relieved. So I wouldn't hate it. It would just be like, okay, this is part of my life now. But I never had a disdain. I wouldn't fall asleep in church or complain about it to my parents. I thought it was just, this is the rite of passage in my life, and I thought this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, is going to church. And my parents were marriage ministry council, so they created the marriage ministry of my church, and my parents were, devout Christians at a point in time too. My main church was this church called Impact Church, and we went over there year after year. That was our constant church. And then they had this program called the VBS, Vacation Bible School. I went there. I think it's a 3-day thing. You do a whole bunch of activities centered around Christianity, like prayer, fun. I did that really young. It's kind of vague, but what I do remember, and why I'm bringing it up, is the last day, all the kids from all the different dorms or buildings that we would sleep in, the last day, at nighttime, we would all take this long walk, right? And then we arrived, I don't know how long we walked, but it was long, I know that for sure. We arrived at this cross, and there was these bleachers or stands that all of us sat in, and there was lights, and then these 2 guys performed a play. And from what I remember, it's kind of vague because it was so long ago. This guy, I don't know if he was Jesus or something, but this guy's actor was I don't know if he was Jesus or something, but this guy's actor was whipping this man actually, there was no special effects. He was getting whipped. It wasn't like a it was just like those that with the little hair sticking out, and he was getting whipped. And that day it was literally thundering, and you can see it in the sky, but there was no rain. And then that was the first supernatural, I guess, spiritual experience I ever experienced, because I actually felt something. There was a lot of kids crying, and there was kids walking to the cross and on their knees and putting their hands together and just praying or talking to God, whatever that, doing whatever it was. But as the ceremony finished, we all sat down back on the bleachers, and we all said, spoken the words of getting saved. We were doing chants or whatever, or saying whatever, and then we got saved that day. And in Christianity, once you get saved, you don't have to worry about not going to heaven anymore, but you still have to be, go to church and stuff, which is kind of odd. Okay, you get your free ticket, and now you don't have to worry about, going to hell anymore, which hell is kind of crazy too, and I'll get to that. But so that's my background of Christianity. I never had any resentment towards it. I never really questioned it because you're not taught to question. Because if you question, that could lead to bigger problems. You know. But luckily, my parents weren't really the ones to, abandon my questioning. Like if I had a question, they'd answer to their best of their ability. But I never really was the type to ask them questions. Like I never did. Like thinking about it, like I want to say, of course, there were some times where I don't know, but I never brought it up to my parents because I was okay. It is what it is, right? But let me say this as well. I think Christianity, or not Christianity. Well, I'll say Christianity because I was a Christian, but I think religion does some things really well. I think in this world that we just are born into, and then we suddenly gain conscious, and then we have free will. I think it really helps calm the brain because it's really the only book or source of literature that tells us how to go about this life. You know what I mean? Because without the Bible, you can easily go into existentialism and start questioning everything. Why are you here? Well, why does it matter? But the Bible does a great job, I guess, stabilizing that, but also to a fault because some of those rules are just go against the way human beings are made. But I think it kind of can provide great structure and great discipline within yourself. And from a micro level, like holistically, I think it's a good thing. But microly, like getting into the stuff of like, I don't know, cursing and homosexuality and stuff like that, that's where I have a problem with it, at least for me myself. My uncle, which is not really my uncle, but I call him my uncle. I did a podcast interview with him on Most Famous, and that was one of my favorite episodes by far because he's a pastor in himself and he's such an upstanding guy. And he's one of many. There's I feel like a bunch of pastors that really devout themselves to the word and try to, keep themselves to a certain standard. And that's because of Christianity, and I super duper value that as a man. I'm pretty high on my morals and discipline and stuff like that. That means a lot to me. So that is something that Christianity provides, and I think that's literally awesome as shit. But there's other things that I just can't get behind. But so let me tell you the moment I started to really, seek a different path. So we were going to church every day, every Sunday, marriage ministry. We did vacation Bible school. That's when my household's Christianity was the strongest. Whether my sisters had different relationships with God privately, that's up to them. But that's when we were going to church the most. And what really struck a chord is when my parents were doing marriage ministry at the time, and I don't know if we took a leave of absence. Again, this was like years ago, but they snaked them out and replaced my two parents. And my parents literally built that marriage ministry from the ground, from like 2 people to 4 people, 10, 12, 20. Like they literally made it the whole thing. Like I'd see them making like sermons and stuff like that, and they snaked them out and replaced them behind their back. I don't know. I think we took a leave of church for like a little minute and they replaced them. From what I remember, I'm not too sure how it happened, but I don't think my parents were wrong. I'd be honest with you. I would tell you like, okay, we took 3 months off, of course, when we replaced. I don't think that's what happened. I think they snaked them out. So after that, it really damaged our relationship with that church, and we decided not to go to that church anymore. And once we did not go to that church anymore, we're bouncing around churches, trying to find a new church home, but it was kind of difficult at the time. And especially with my father, he really likes to be moved, like, he doesn't really like recycled sermons, which tend to happen because there's only so many things in the Bible you can talk about. And I'm the same way, like, I really like to be moved, but, not through church anymore. But after that, we didn't go to church for a while. And in the midst of that, my parents were going through a rough patch in their relationship, and you can kind of see the relationship between the two of them kind of degrade and wear over time for reasons I'm not going to go into in this video, or probably ever, to be honest with you. I don't think it's... Anyway, but ultimately, the relationship kind of fell apart. My parents grew apart, and they divorced. And once my parents divorced, like, there was no telling when we were going to go to church again. I moved in with my dad, and my dad didn't go to church, and my mother didn't go to church either. So I was kind of stuck in this limbo space of like, what am I doing? I should be going to church. I haven't gone to church in years. What does God think? Yada yada. Really just like, yeah, girl, what the fuck? And none of my siblings went to church as well. And then I was thinking to myself, like, bro, so am I the last resort for religion carrying on in my family? Like, if none of us go to church, like, is religion done for my last name? And that was something I was really like paranoid about. And and I'll be honest, I got a car and I didn't go to church. I didn't find a church home. Granted, I was like 18 at the time. That could have been a lot, but I didn't go out and do nothing like that. But that was something really, on my mind. Like, bro, is religion literally stopped with me? Because none of my sisters went to church, parents don't. Yada yada, right? And also I want to mention, by the way, this video became about because of Rhett and Link's religious deconstruction videos. And recently Rhett did a video about religious deconstruction with this woman. I'm gonna just pop the thumbnail up. I'll link in the description below if y'all wanna watch. It's a really good video about an atheist trying to explain spirituality after you abandon religion and you want to be spiritual but not religious, or not participate in Western religion, which is, I think it's cool. Go watch that video, it's really good. But that kind of inspired this video, because I just want to, tell you what I think. And yeah, so I was starting to worry about that. I worry about not carrying on religion through my lineage and stuff. And then eventually, I don't know if I chose the path of least resistance because I didn't want to go to church anymore, or if I really came to these conclusions. It could be both. But the last time I went to church was in college. I went to this church with my homies, and it was cool, but it was a white church, no disrespect, and I didn't really feel connected, and I was literally just there. I didn't feel any, because that was the first time I went to church in like 3 years, right? And I didn't feel anything. So I'm like, I don't think this is something for me. So then I drop out. I start thinking really deeply about religion, right? I start like, I don't know, they all generally just say the same thing. Some of these things don't sit right with me. Like, let's get into it. I wrote this down because I don't remember. Obviously, one of the stigmas of rap, or just being a celebrity in general, is, people saying that you sell your soul, or, you're giving your soul for fame or fortune, or, for a good life. And I was like, if one side of the coin has to be true, so does the other. So I'm like, don't Christianities do the same thing when you get saved? Aren't you selling your soul to God and drinking the blood of Jesus? And blood is really bad, or like, drinking blood is devilism, but we literally drink the blood of Jesus the first of the month, every month. I thought that was strange. And it also made me thinking about how, during the Vietnam War, there's no difference between a U.S. soldier and a Vietnam soldier. They're just born on one part of the world, and now they're fighting this war together. And, they're just fighting a cause. They didn't choose the life they live. And I think that's kind of religion is, like, with the devil and God. It's basically two sides thinking both sides are right. So that's one thing. Another thing is slave masters and slaves praying to the same God. Only somebody's prayers has to be answered. And if you were a God and you created a world, if there was somebody that was just, let's say, for the sake of argument, let's say somebody was creating a Minecraft world and you were setting the presets to what could be allowed. You could say, okay, they have free will, check. They can make their own money, check. They can have their own thoughts, check. I'm gonna allow rape and I'm gonna allow slavery on this world to be a possibility. You would look at that person very crazy, but that's the world we live in now. And this God that we pray to is a jealous God, but we can't be jealous. And this God that we pray to created this hellish world with slaveries and women getting raped and it's all sorts of things. Women just be treated like objects, and we're supposed to pray to a God that created this world, but then again we have free will. But I'm not saying that the world should just be lollipop and daisies, but I'm just saying what the effects of slavery and rape and the worst things can do to the human mind that this God created, it's so terrible. And I don't know, it doesn't make sense for a God to love us this much, but this be a reality. And this whole idea is like, God has a purpose, everything happens for a reason, but like those kids that were born, or those 5 and 6 year olds that got bombed in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, did their life have no purpose? Did they were just on this world to die? I don't believe that. Or just Kyron Lacey was his rest in peace. I mean this with all no disrespect, but was his story supposed to end that way? You know what I mean? It's that was at his purpose. Like I don't want to think about that. So once you kind of conceptualize what this world actually is, because a lot of Christianity is turning a blind eye to the unexplainable. You know what I mean? And it's just not fair. I'm saying all of it either it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. It's just that I feel like Christianity, if we knew what happens after we die, I think we would have better grips. If we knew what happens after we die, I don't think Christianity or religion would be as popular. I feel like religion is created out of fear in some people and control for some people and structure, right? We don't really like freedom as much as we think we like it. We like the idea of freedom, but you know what I mean? Human beings, I think we're just better in structure when we know exactly what to and what not to do. And that's what the Bible provides. And I think that's one of the great things religion do. I think it's just we work better if there is religion, so we do know what to do. Because if there is none, the world would be heinous. It just really more than it already is. So once you really put all those things in perspective, it does change things a little bit, right? And I will not lie to you. After I've come to this realization, or just once I kind of adopted this mindset of all these things can be true, it does change the way you look at people that are religious. And I will never try to convert somebody to, the way I think about things like that. If you ask me, of course, I'll tell you, but I'll never try to convert somebody. And and I'd be lying to you if a part of me kind of feels uneasy wearing this cross necklace in every single one of these videos. I've been wearing this cross necklace for like a year plus now. And I still say things like, thank God, and oh my God, and I still say things like that just because I don't know if I've just been conditioning. And every time something good happens to me, I do say, thank God. And I do say things like that just because a part of me still believes like there's no in hell I could have got here by myself. And I guess that's kind of where I'm at with it, because I'm not a person that I did all this shit on my own. I like the idea of having at least somebody, looking over me and just watching me, right? But then I start rationalizing things, and some of it doesn't make sense. So yeah, I still say thank God and stuff like that, but it's I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And that does make me atheist. And my parents, or at least my mom, I don't know, my parents are very open in this way. They haven't forced anything down my throat ever since I've come to this realization. But I'd be lying to you if I was to tell you that it isn't scary. This way of thinking is way scarier than opposition, right? Because if I was still a Christian, of course, like I would have to worry about not cussing and I don't know what else. Well, not getting tattoos. Oh, shit, I already broke that shit. So, but I would have, of course, I would do all that stuff. But I would also have someone looking over me, somebody that can actually bless me and favor me. And that's another thing. You cannot, somebody that powerful like God, the way we describe him, cannot be favoring people, because there's you can't be that powerful and pick favorites. That, you know, terrible. Like some people's lives are horrible. And even the people at the top, these evil people, corporation people, are they favored by God? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much morality really chooses how your life is. I think it just is. But back to what I was saying about so this life I'm living, like, once you abandon religion, it's kind of like, it does, I'm not gonna lie, it gets scary, because it's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I here then? Right, that is the worst part about it. And you also don't feel as, you know, protected, I guess, from existential things. But I think I'm not a super existential person, right? I'm not a super like I don't panic at the thought of why am I here. Like, I'm just here, so I'm gonna just try and rock out and make the best of it. And I saw so much life to live. That's gonna be great. And yeah. So it is scarier, I guess, per se, but I'm okay. I sleep well at night, and I know that my life's going to be a great one because it's what I think. And I do subscribe to the notion that we are all God, you know what I mean? You can create your reality the way you see it, the way you imagine it. You are in control, and I truly believe that. And that's the way I want to live my life. It's just that I want to take whatever I think is mine and work hard and pay the price for whatever I think I want. I'll pay the price for it. I'm not gonna say that I'm done praying. I still might pray over my food, or I will still join hands in a prayer circle around food on Thanksgiving. I don't want to be disrespectful, and it doesn't hurt, because if I think, you know what I'm saying, really doesn't matter, then I can pray. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make a stance and like be disrespectful. That's the last thing I want. But I probably will pray again. I'm not sure, but I'm 20, and religion is such a heavy thing. So this is kind of where I'm at with it. But yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Hold on. So what now? I think my solution. I think the focal point of the human experience should be to put the human first. Hold on, I want to get this right. Matthew, if you don't believe in religion, what do you think people should do? If, you know, saying it was up to you. And obviously it does not work for everybody, but that's what I think. I think that the focal point of our society should be to put the human being first, not the ideas of a man that we think exist. Let me explain. If I hit you and you tell me it hurts, I should stop hitting you. It shouldn't be, I hit you. I look in the Bible, it says, no, I can hit you because it says right here I can hit you, and then I keep hitting you, and then you should just get used to the pain. That's not what that is. That's kind of what homophobia is, I guess. Or, because let's say you're gay, that's wrong. And then look, it says in the Bible that you can't be gay. And then the gay person is just supposed to get used to it and just be like, no, that's what the Bible says. You know, I feel like however we human beings feel should determine how we should treat each other. So in essence, if there was a religion that's centered around empathy, of you feeling what I feel, that's religion I should follow. And that's where I'm at with it. I will treat people the best way I can, be nicest to the people, be very nice to people, be respectful to people, work hard, still manifest, because I still feel like the power of the tongue is a powerful thing. And I will never disrespect anybody that follows any religion. And I will still probably be reluctant to go to a church because that's not invoke feeling of, you know, excitement. But we should, I'm gonna leave you off with this. I wrote this quote down and I want to get it right. We should lead our life with the focal point of providing the best human experience possible for everyone, instead of finding the best human experience within the confines of a man's ideas of who we think exists in a book with over 100 authors. Those are my closing thoughts. Those are I'm out. That's where I'm at with religion. Thank you guys for watching this video so much. I want to again shout out to Rhett and Link, and especially Rhett, the work he does with spiritual deconstruction, and he's definitely changed my ideals. I think for the better. You know what I'm saying? It could be different for you. You could probably think Rhett's a devil or whatever. Fuck. I think it's great. I hope to meet him one day. But yeah, that's where I'm at with religion. I hope you took something away from this. I hope I didn't come off as disrespectful to anybody that is religious. This is just my journey as a human being, and I have a YouTube video, so I'm gonna post about it. But yeah, and I wonder what I'm gonna do if my girlfriend is religious. I don't know. I think that could work though, but we'll see. We'll cross the fish when I get to it. Anyway, love you guys very dearly, and I think I'm gonna continue this series with like a different topic. Like, 'cause I think I have ideas on like people and kids, and I don't know, delayed gratification. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call this the period series. But period series doesn't really sound really good because it sounds like, you know, like periods. But I'm just title this video religion, period. Alright. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope took some away from this. Love you guys. See ya! Oh yeah, I got this tattoo. I'm gonna make a whole video for it. So don't worry about that.